There is a lot of new Avatar content coming up. Alright, so I know I haven't made a video in a while. Sorry, I've been pretty busy. So I thought I'd catch up with all the Avatar news that's happened over the last, year, I guess. So the biggest thing that was announced at this year's San Diego Comic-Con was that Avatar Studios is making an animated movie about the adult gang. Apparently, this will be the first Avatar Studios movie released, and the release date in theaters was just announced to be 10/10/25. That's kind of far away, but I do like this date because it means the same thing no matter if you use the sensible dating notation or the US American one. The movie is going to be directed by Lauren Montgomery, who previously worked on the original show as well as The Legend of Korra. Apparently, this movie and others made by Avatar Studios are going to be some original 2D and CGI hybrid or something. They announced that the animation studio would be Flying Bark Productions. I've looked into some of their previous work, and they seem to have done a variety of differently styled animations, so I don't really know how that's going to look, but I personally hope it doesn't really look that different from the original show or The Legend of Korra. They haven't really said anything about voice actors yet, but I don't see why they couldn't just get the original voice actors for the characters, even if they're supposed to be adults now, because, all the voice actors are actually adults now. Aang would definitely sound the most different, but I don't think that matters if he's playing an adult Aang. Although Zach Tyler Eisen kind of quit acting and voice acting after Avatar, so I don't know if he'd really be interested. Michaela Murphy's voice has somewhat changed too as she's gotten older, but she could just talk in her normal voice now instead of trying to sound like Kid Toph again.
I am Michaela Murphy, also known as Jessie Flower, and I voice Toph Beifong, if you could not tell.
Jack DeSena could probably just talk in his normal voice too, and I think it would sound just different enough from young Sokka to sound like older Sokka. I think he did alter his voice a little bit when he played Sokka, so he could just not do that now to sound older. I don't know, I think it'd be kind of cool to have voice actors who played kid characters while they were actually kids, then later play the adult versions of those same characters as adults. Has that ever even happened before in anything? I don't know, I think it'd be cool. I don't know, what do you think? Should all the old voice actors reprise their roles, or even just some of them? I don't know, I think it'd be kind of cool. Although, I am not sure how I feel about this movie being made in general. I didn't really like a lot of what The Legend of Korra did to the lore and world building of Avatar, so I wouldn't really want to see any references to that, which I'm sure this movie will have. This announcement was also preceded by rumors that they were going to make movies focused on Kyoshi, Zuko, and Korra in that order. However, it's unclear if those were ever concrete plans, especially after this announcement at Comic-Con. Out of all of those, I think I would actually want to see a Kyoshi movie the most, because I thought the Kyoshi books were pretty good. Although supposedly the author of those books, F.C. Yee, is not involved with Avatar Studios right now. There's also rumors of another animated series in development by Avatar Studios right now, but nothing is really known about it at the moment. But I think it's safe to say that we'll be getting a lot of new animated content from Avatar Studios in the coming years. Mike and Brian have said that these are all going to be new stories and not simply adaptations of the comic books that have been released since Avatar ended. They also said in a podcast that they think of all the Avatar expanded universe, like all the comics and books and stuff, as quote, mostly canon, and we all know that mostly canon means slightly not canon. They said they might change or tweak a few things with the story and the lore of the comics. I am completely indifferent to that at the moment. I have pretty mixed opinions about the comics. There's some stuff that I think is pretty good in the comics, and there's a decent amount of stuff that I think is pretty dumb, which is also pretty much exactly how I felt about the Star Wars expanded universe, so I honestly didn't mind at first when it was decanonized, but then they replaced it with stuff that was pretty much only stupid, so now I kinda wish that they had never decanonized it. So we'll see what happens with any Avatar expanded universe retcons or decanonizations. There's more Avatar news coming up, but first remember to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button for more Avatar videos. So, also announced at San Diego Comic-Con was an Azula-focused graphic novel by Dark Horse that's going to be released in the summer of 2023. It's going to be titled Azula in the Spirit Temple, but not much else has been revealed about it yet beyond the cover art. We do know that some people working on it are Faith Erin Hicks, Adele Matera, and Peter Wortman, all of whom have worked on Avatar comics before. They also announced a Korra graphic novel trilogy that's coming out in 2023, but we don't know much else about it.
You can expect a new trilogy of Korra comics beginning in 2023.
This is different to the Korra anthology series that was announced last year called Patterns of Time, which is going to be released this year in November. Patterns of Time will include stories about Guru Lahima and a younger Asami Sato and her mother. They've also recently announced a Mako solo comic at New York Comic-Con that will be released after Azula's comic. Another thing that was just announced was that 2023's Free Comic Book Day. I don't even know what that is. What is Free Comic Book Day? Anyway, there'll be a new Star Wars High Republic Adventures comic and a new Avatar comic of unknown subject matter together in the same book. It'll be available in comic stores on May 6th of next year. It's kind of weird that they're in the same book, like they're not even owned by the same company or anything, right? In other news, another Avatar novel was released recently, this one about Avatar Yang Chen. I recently bought it at San Diego Comic-Con and I was able to get it signed by the author, the same guy who wrote the Kyoshi novels, F.C. Yi. I haven't read it yet, but I will soon, and I'm probably going to upload a review of it or something. There's also going to be a second Yang Chen novel, which I'm guessing will be released around July of next year if it follows the pattern of the Kyoshi novels. I was also able to obtain a recording of the full San Diego Comic-Con Avatar panel featuring F.C. Yi, which I will upload on this channel. In other news, something must have happened with the moon spirit last week, because I was practicing waterbending at night when suddenly I couldn't waterbend. I looked over and the moon had turned red. It must have been worked out though, because I was able to bend like an hour later and I saw the moon looking normal again the following night. In other news, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl finally received voice acting a few months ago. They actually had the voice actors record new lines, which is fine for most of the characters except for Aang and Toph. They didn't get the original voice actors for them because they sound different now, which is understandable, but the voice actors they did get sound nothing like Aang or Toph. I still don't understand why they can't just reuse old voice clips. Like, even if they have to pay royalties to the original voice actors or to Nickelodeon, is that more expensive than paying voice actors to record new lines? I mean, they did get most of the original voice actors for most of the characters. I can't imagine having Tom Kenny record new lines is cheap. Is there anyone that can explain this to me in the comments, because I still don't understand why they can't use archived voice clips. Also, in a recent update, there was kind of a mistake where they made Aang's down B move like an insta-kill move, which it's kind of funny, but it's definitely not balanced. But whatever, this game is pretty dead anyway. Being released without voice acting or crossplay and, in my opinion, terrible movesets for Aang and Korra really killed any momentum it may have had. I do have to commend Multiverses for actually having both crossplay and voice acting upon release. But in related news, Aang, Zuko, and Toph are going to be added to the fighting game Brawlhalla on November 16th. I've never played this game, but I might have to give it a try now. Although, I don't know, from the trailer it still doesn't look like these characters have many ranged attacks, which is kind of disappointing. In other news, if you haven't watched the show Moon Knight that came out in like March, it had a reference to Avatar in it. Both Avatars, actually.
But she was betrayed by even her own avatar.
Avatars, blue people. Love that film.
By avatar,
You mean that?
what I mean,
Anime.
Stephen, stop it.
I wonder if him calling it an anime triggered anyone. In other news, there are several Avatar video games in development. There's reportedly at least 2 being developed for consoles, an RPG and an MMORPG. The RPG is titled Quest for Balance and is supposedly being released on March 31st of next year. And supposedly it will be available for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch. I'll probably get it and upload some gameplay on here. There's also a mobile Avatar game called Avatar Generations being developed by Square Enix. It was actually just soft launched in Canada, Denmark, South Africa, and Sweden. Seems like a random pick of countries. So it's available on the App Store or the Play Store, whatever, in those countries. I don't know when it's going to be released everywhere else, but I'm not really a big mobile game guy, so I don't even know if I would play it. Maybe I'll check it out because it's Avatar related. In other news, the online version of the Avatar Legends Tabletop RPG has been uploaded. Looks like the game is available now for Kickstarter backers. The game is available on mobile, desktop, tablets, etc., so you can take it anywhere pretty much. You can connect with other players through a matchmaking system. There's a lot of other stuff too. You can go to avatarlegendsnexus.com to learn more. Also, the core book is available for pre-order now. Previously, it was only available to the Kickstarter backers. They also announced at New York Comic Con that there is a Republic City expansion for the game coming in summer of 2023. It will be adding characters like Varric, Julie, Bolin, Mako, etc. There's also a Spirit World expansion in development that doesn't seem to have a release time announced yet. In other news, the University of Southern California's Spirit of Troy marching band performed the Avatar theme at a USC Trojans football game a few weeks ago. They also had someone saying Katara's lines from the intro and stuff. The band marched into formations of the four elements, followed by a formation of Aang's face. This was part of a larger Nickelodeon-themed performance. They also played music from other Nickelodeon shows. They finished the show with a performance of Sweet Victory. You know, like the Super Bowl should have done. I'm still salty about that. In other news, many people who previously worked on various parts of the original show and/or The Legend of Korra have joined Avatar Studios. This includes Christy Tsang as executive art director, William New as an art director, Steve Ahn as the head of storyboard, Tim Hendricks as a writer, and Jeremy Zuckerman is returning as the composer, which I think is really cool because he scored the original show and I really liked the music from it. They also hired some new people, obviously, such as Reservation Dogs writer Migis Pensano as a consultant on native representation. Now, I know what you're wondering about. What about news on the live-action show? Well, there's been tons of that over the last year, so I'm going to make a separate video all about that. So remember to subscribe and hit the bell button for more Avatar videos coming soon. If you want to help my channel, you can hit the like button, or you know what? If you really didn't like this video, you can hit the dislike button. But what's the point of that? YouTube removed the dislike button, so now nobody can see the dislikes anymore. That is true, but now there is a Chrome extension called Return YouTube Dislike that you can get for Google Chrome and possibly other browsers as well. I don't think it's available on mobile, but you can at least have it on PC. I'll put a link to it in the description. I think it was stupid for YouTube to do that in the first place. Bring the dislikes back. I don't care if my dislikes are visible. You can also help my channel by leaving a comment or supporting me on Patreon. Big, massive, elephant koi-sized thanks to my patrons: DJ Triple, Tania Foster, Charles Oberon, and Colleen West. I'm very surprised and thankful that any of you are still here after such a long hiatus, but I am very grateful for your support. Alright, check out some of my other Avatar videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later.